So to stop, this is Lord Mihir, Volume 3, page 882. It's Monday, December 8th. We're continuing on with our meeting. Baba talking about sanskaras. So to stop the creation of new sanskaras and to destroy the past ones, have the company and sahavas of a guru who is realized. A guru who is God conscious is like a living furnace, burning away everything, good, bad, past, present, and future, all sanskaras. So in other words, he even burns the flowers up. he clears totally the field. So then,
the whole illusion.
yeah, because in the illusion, if you plant the roses, you're going to believe, look at the beautiful roses. They mean a lot to me. I'm going to preserve these. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. Well, like last week, we described the difference between the battle between God and Maya. Maya wants you just as much as God wants you. God wants you to realize Him. Maya wants you to be addicted to the world. Maya wants you to be successful. Maya wants you to have ambition. Maya wants you to have a job. Maya wants you to have all these things in the world, and you say, I'm successful, I'm special, But God says, leave all and come to me. But you can't leave it all, because you don't want to leave your family, you're attached. You have money, you don't want to leave your money. You see? Remember what Baba said? He says, lust, greed, anger, and hope.
Hope too.
You have to give up hope. Because if you have hope, you believe believe the world as being real. You have to, it's a tricky thing, because if you say this to the wrong person, they're going to misinterpret you and say, what kind of philosophy is that? That sounds fatalistic. That sounds,
That's why I don't
non-productive.
That's if I want to work in the bookstore. And I said, no, it's for that very reason. Because if you really break some of these elements down to a guy who walks in the door, you can be totally, be perceived as being out in the...
Exactly. See, you have to have the understanding that the spiritual path is one that it's an inner experience, inner knowledge, and that you live in the world. If you're rich, be rich, but don't be attached to it.
Right.
Don't strive for it. If you happen to be born in a rich family, fine. If you're not, fine. Accept what you have and go on. Be good. Sure, you have to make a living. You have to pay your rent. You have to be a responsible citizen, because by being so, your mind is going to be much more at peace than troubled. So it's a wiggle-a-whisk thing. The next day, Baba went to visit the flour mill at Telegon, owned by Ghani in Ramju. It was named after him, the Mihir Flour Mill. Jal, Baba's brother, Baramji, Arjun, and Gustaji went with him, and they returned to Lanalva in the afternoon. Later, while discoursing about a Sadguru circle, Baba revealed, when a man or woman dies, he or she sometimes takes a different human form in the next birth. This form is distinctly different from the previous form. Even in hundreds and thousands of births, no two human forms are similar. But even this has an exception. A person who enters a Sadguru circle has a similar form and the same sex at the time of God realization as he or she had when he or she first entered the circle. A person who enters a Sadguru circle has a similar form and the same sex at the time of God realization as he or she had when he or she first entered the circle. What does that mean?
Similar sanskaras. Well,
no, I'm saying, is that the same life we're speaking about?
I guess it could be.
Because
not necessarily.
You may be under the circle of the avatar. It may take you several lifetimes to achieve God realization. So what he's saying is...
What he's talking about is that big chart. That 10 circles chart.
Yeah.
When you're at the bottom, by the time you get to the top, that you got a similar form. So I guess it could be the same, right?
But more like it says that the sex that you entered the circle under, that is what you're going to be given Well, that's what you're going to achieve God realization in. If you were female, you'll be a female God realized soul. If you were male, when you enter the circle, you'll be a male God realized soul. For folks, well, it's for us to find out.
Right, and I know for some people it happens in one lifetime, but for the most of us, I don't think so.
After a person becomes a member of the circle, he or she attains realization in 100 or 200 years. Oh, in 100 or 200 years.
That's a big deal. When you think about it, that's not bad.
During this period, according to the faith, F-A-T-E, the spending of the remaining sanskaras after coming into the circle, a person may have to take 1, 2, 3, or 4 more births. But when the time comes for realization, the person's form is similar and the sex the same as when he or she first came into the circle. We just answered. So, depends on your longevity. You may live to be like, Minu, 93.
Right.
And he probably finished, he had 100 years to go. That's why Baba said to him, Mino died.
I know.
Baba said this was his last birth.
He said to him.
Yeah, so Mino, if you touched Mino, you touched God realized person.
Oh my God.
Did you touch Mino?
Oh, we went to a lot of times.
Knowing you, Kati, you'd love it. Yeah. You went to Sakore Shirdi with Mino?
Oh, yeah.
He's lovely man, lovely.
Yeah.
But Baba told him, he said, this is your last birth. And he once kidded Baba. He was in his, I think, early 30s. He says, well, Baba, if it's my last birth, he's an electrician. He says, can I touch this bare electric wire and take my life and get God realization? And Baba says, yes. He says, but you wouldn't please me. And so he said, okay. He was joking,
I know.
And after Baba said that, he made sure.
He was not Mandali. He was Mandali too?
No. I think he's Mandali. Definitely he's Mandali. I mean, he wasn't the inner circle Mandali, but he's Mandali. I mean, he's. I mean, I don't know if he's Mandali, but he's definitely close to the circle.
Wow.
But Baba told him he's got realized after he drops his body. So, Mino, Auta Behar Baba Kije. Mino, all right, you made it. The seed of my present circle, the seed, like plant, was laid nearly 400 years ago at the time of Shivaji.
Wow.
See, Baba came as what they call a veiled incarnation of God as Shivaji. He came as a great conquering king. What happened?
I just spilled a little bit of tea.
Oh.
Paper towel.
You could get later.
That is bother. Sit, Baba.
That's later.
Well, I won't forget.
Yes, I make it. Don't worry. Sit.
Swami Ramdas, the guru of Shivaji, and one of the 5 perfect masters of the time, laid the seed of the new spiritual circle to be. In exactly the same way, I have now laid the seeds of the new circle to be, which will be completely manifested 400 to 500 years from now.
See, Fred, you keep saying that, and it keeps driving me back to this thing right here.
Ramdas ji was at that time?
Shiva.
Ramdas ji was guru of Shiva?
Swami Ramdas,
circle,
was the guru of Shiva.
This is a circle.
Ah,
Remember the 10 circles chart?
Yes.
That's what he's talking about there.
Yes.
See, these are the people on the different planes there. That's what he's talking
Yeah, there's 120, isn't it?
I think so.
With 2 appendages.
Right. It's 10 circles with 12 on each one, is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then right the appendages thing. I think one of them is here. But anyway, that's what he's talking about there. And he keeps looking at those charts and all of that.
Yeah, but Baba said now he has laid the seeds for the new circle to be, which will be completely manifested 400 to 500 years from now. So that would be, this was 26, so 2026, 21, 26, 2326 to 2426 will be the next Advent.
That's interesting. I often wonder when we all recognize each other when our turn comes.
If we are alive that time, we are not alive this time.
Well, we'll be alive in another body. But that'd be amazing. You got to go through being a baby again.
Bobby. I thought, me and plus we thought hi this baby, by Baba's picture, Baba. So there's the Baba, she's Baba.
Oh my!
She probably knows who it is.
She could be some old soul.
Baba.
She could be an old soul coming.
I know.
The human forms which the Master and the members of the circle take during their manifestation are similar and of the same sex as they had at the time when the seed was sown by a perfect Master. For example, I have now a similar stature as that of Shivaji when I manifested as him, and when the seed for this present circle was sown by Swami Ramdas. My present form is similar to Shivaji in many ways.
That reminds me of something. That Fred
Winterfeld
told me that he had, he used to drive Baba when Baba came to the center in Myrtle Beach. He said that Baba had told him that he drove the chariot when Baba was Rama.
Really? Wow.
So when they would do that whole war thing, Fred said he was driving the chariot.
Yeah.
So Baba told him that.
Wow.
Who drove the chariot?
This Baba lover who's now a man.
Iran.
No, a man in Myrtle Beach who died. He's no longer in his body. Fred Winterfeld.
Yeah,
He's been a long time Baba lover, but he passed away about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But he would drive Baba in his car when Baba came to Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And then he told Kennedy that I'm driving Baba, and in the past I drove Rama in a chariot.
Oh.
Yeah, Baba told him that he had driven a chariot for Rama.
Rama.
And he said, who else was that one? Was Eric.
Meher Baba drove the chariot?
No, this man drove. See, Meher Baba was Rama. Meher Baba was Rama before. He was Rama. So now he's Meher Baba, and he had a chariot driver. And this chariot driver now is his automobile driver.
Right.
This man named Fred.
What's chariot driver?
You know, chariot like the Romans used to have.
Like a wagon.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Ben-Hur.
Like Ben-Hur, right?
Like Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
The Master liked things to be kept clean and in order. The next day, the tea kettle was found to be left unwashed, and Baba was furious about it. He reprimanded the Mandali at length.
Wow.
It would be better for you people to be careful about cleanliness as far as my food and drink are concerned.
Oh Lord, he loves food too, like me. Me like Baba. Yeah.
For me, cleanliness and uncleanliness are the same, but one or the other should be observed perfectly. In other words, if you're going to be bad, be bad, but don't be in between. If you want me to remain clean, then you should pay the greatest possible attention in keeping my clothes, food, and water thoroughly clean. Otherwise, if I start appearing dirty, I will be so dirty that people would think twice before approaching me. I can live in the filthiest ways, in totally unhygienic surroundings, which you people would never be able to do so. So remember this. In other words, what he was telling him is, hey, if you don't want to clean, I will take it to the extreme, the other way. And you people won't be able to handle it. Here is Meher Baba, the group of disciples in Lanalva, and this is at the hill station on the 26th of November. Look at that group. Wow, look at that big group there.
But any women in there, just all guys?
No, it's all guys.
That's what I thought.
Uncle Masaji holding Rustam's son Falu, Baba's brother Adi Jr., Gani Mustaf holding Ramju's son Bagu, Bairamji Rustam Chandji seated next to Baba, Padri standing in the far background. On the veranda, Ramju Abdullah holding Rustam's son Melo, Vishnu Dirokar, Pandoba Deshmukh holding Ramju's son Dadu, Gustaji seated next to Mir Baba, Brother Jal behind Gustaji. Oh yeah, there's Jal. Jal really amazing. I was really good friends with Jal. Pendu standing behind Jal, and then Chuggin holding Choxley. Look at Pendu. Pendu. You ever meet Pendu? You never met Pendu? Oh, I met Pendu many times. Because my first trip to India was 71, so. Oh, look at the map. Map of Mehrabad region. See, this is a nice map because it shows where Ahmednagar is, and it shows where Shirdi and Sikori are, how close they are. Mm-hmm. That's where we would always go. There was Rahuri Mad Ashram.
Yeah,
and there's Pimplegan. And look how close Happy Valley is.
Happy Valley, I went to.
Yeah, how close it is to Pimplegan. It's right there. That's where Marazad is.
Yeah.
That's where the residence is, Marazad.
What's that? Lanalva?
Lanalva, yeah. And Pune. And Bombay is right here.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Bombay would be here.
So you just come all the way up here,
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Go.
Okay. Speaking of which, have you seen Mark's car lately?
What?
Mark Brutus's truck.
It's right there.
Have you started it lately?
No.
We should do that when we get
Yesterday we started.
You started it?
You started? No. Class told me that it's Mark's car.
No, Mark is there. Mark hasn't come back yet.
I know, but his car is here.
Yeah.
But we didn't start it.
No, we didn't start it. Mark is due back, I think, this week.
Yeah.
I think he's due back Saturday, I'm not mistaken.
This Saturday we have the Christmas party.
He's going to call me and let me know. I'm going to pick him up. I don't know.
It's too bad.
I don't know. No, that car will start. That car will start. If it doesn't start, I have jumper cables. We'll get him started.
Saturday's not bad.
Fred, this week is Christmas party, this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Okay, Christmas party, gift exchange.
Yeah, gift exchange, Christmas party, and you shall bring something to share. Food,
yeah, this week.
potluck.
Okay.
This Saturday.
Yeah, because people ask me to, Iranian people, they know.
Yes, 7:30, 8 o'clock or something. Okay. Somebody should put the tree up, though. There's no tree.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking which tree, where is the tree?
You know, the point of it is, apparently they want to bring it Saturday and then put it up, but I don't know. Anyway, let's take a little break.
Excuse me. The rest of the Mehrabad Mandali arrived in Lanvala that day, November the 30th. After dinner, Baba played cards with the Mandali, and the losers were made to do several deep knee bends. On December 1st, Rustam arrived in Lanvala with the 12 remaining children of the school. The next day, however, the students were sent back to Ahmednagar with Nasal, who Baba directed to look after them as if they were his own. Nasal was to be their teachers so they could continue their education at Mehrabad. Baba informed Nasal that he would bear all the necessary expenses and directed him to contact the parents to make certain they agreed. Arjun Sapakar fell critically ill during the stay at Lanvala and was taken to Dr. B. Walker's hospital. Baba urged the doctor to spare nothing in treating him. B. Walker was one of Baba's closest disciples, and knowing Arjun's deep love for the master, he began wholeheartedly looking after him. Baba showed his love for Arjun by visiting him often at the hospital. And though there was a large gathering for Darshan on December 3rd and 4th, Baba took a break to visit Arjun and to give detailed instructions to Dr. B. Walker about his care. After staying in Lanvala for 10 days, Baba decided to take the afternoon train to Bombay with the Mandali on December 5th. Before departing, Baba again consulted with Ganji and Dr. B. Walker, giving final instructions for the care of Arjun. Kareem and Subnis were ordered to stay behind to nurse him. Baba visited Arjuna in the hospital one final time. He gave him a last kiss and then left. No one knew that the book containing Arjuna's story was being completely erased by the final kiss, as Arjuna's life was being transformed into God's existence. Baba and the Mandali reached Dedar railway station at 5 o'clock. Since it was the religious holiday of Amwasa, a moonless night when bathing, prayer, and fasting are observed. Naval and Ramdas were not able to arrange transportation for the group to their lodgings. Finally, a Victoria horse carriage was hired and Baba went with a few friends of the Mandali to Ramdas' bungalow at Santa Cruz. The women Mandali proceeded there in a local train with Naval. Meanwhile, at the train station, Ramji asked the men to take the bulky and heavy baggage to the opposite platform, an arduous task that caused them to strain. A crowd gathered to stare at this unlikely group of coolies. A trolley was hired and the luggage was loaded on it. But while crossing the tracks, one of its wheels got caught. The train was fast approaching, so they all exerted their utmost to free the wheel and move the trolley. They just managed to free the cart as the train steamed by. It was a dangerous situation, and all took Baba's name throughout. With great difficulty, they reached Ramdas' bungalow at 10:30 that night, very fatigued. The next day, Baba set forth the schedule he wished them to follow during their stay in Bombay. They were all to rise at 6 and retire at night by 10 o'clock. In the morning, they should have milk tea and chapatis. For lunch, rice and dal, and for dinner, a vegetable dish and chapatis. After a few days, on December 10th, Baba explained to the men Mandali that they would have to find work for themselves. He stated, if you are not active, you will grow lazy, which would prove a hindrance to my future work. At first, the men discussed finding employment in hotels or factories, but Gulab Shah and Asafri suggested that they work at their residence making matchboxes. Baba agreed, but added that if they failed to profit through this work, 12 of the Mandali would have to work as coolies. Top of the page.
Gulab Shah of Sari, Bairamji, went to a match factory and materials were bought to make 1,000 matchboxes with labels. The next day the work began. Since no one was familiar with this type of work, making the matchboxes was slow at first. Baba had instructed them that they should learn how to make them in 2 days. He himself joined in their labors, introducing a serious note to the tedious tasks. Can you imagine Baba making matchboxes? My, oh my. Well, you could see how...
Baba cleaned the bathroom in the school.
I know, but you could see how he was so, what's the word?
Free, renaissance.
So free, no, but his mind was so open and so supercharged. See, when you have a supercharged mind, when you feel wonderful, you are open to anything. You are open to helping. You're open to doing and giving and talking and sharing. See, energy, if you have good energy, you can do anything. When you have bad energy, then your mind says, I'm too weak to do this, I'm too tired to do this. You then don't do anything.
It's stuck up like that.
Well, yes, but when you have good energy, you'll do anything, because to you, nothing's an obstacle, and the action itself is just in the mind. Like if you were to say to a rich Wall Street broker, will you make matchboxes tonight with me? He would say, how much an hour do you pay? and you said, well, it's complimentary, no pay, he would laugh at you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think in their minds they only expend their energy for profit or for return on their life energy. So, but Baba would just expend himself because he was feeling omniscient.
The whole world is his. Everything is his.
Because I tell you, in the early honeymoon days with Baba, when I just found out about him, I felt this energy to share Baba with people, total strangers on airplanes, on buses, on cars, a person walking in the street. I'd walk up to them, may I help you with your groceries? I'd carry it and I'd say, you know about Meher Baba? I would talk to them openly. I had the energy. I did have energy. That's what it was.
We all had that. Right?
I had that energy to feel free.
Right.
And in fact, I remember once saying, I wouldn't care what work I did in life as long as I remembered Baba.
Fred, I remember, and ask Mark about this when he gets back from India. We used to go singing Christmas carols in Chicago, the Baba. Now, can you imagine doing that in the 90s?
Wow, no.
We used to
go. The Baba group would get together singing Christmas carols because their hearts were on fire and they wanted to just share Baba by singing to God.
People would open their doors and windows, say hello.
Exactly. But now people are, shelved, hide, That's so true, Kenny. I agree. People were so open. I remember I at one time would tell people I forgive Richard Nixon for Vietnam. I forgive him for Watergate. I used to feel this in my heart. It wasn't just a cop-out. Friends of mine would say, are you nuts? You like Richard Nixon? I says, I love the man as a soul. I don't have to like him as what he did. But I used to feel this all-embracing compassion, which was the honeymoon segment about Baba. When I just found out about Baba, it was like, I would talk to strangers on an airplane.
You didn't hate anybody.
No, and I wasn't afraid.
You could.
I wasn't afraid. I pull out a Baba card to a stranger. Here, I gave a priest. I went to visit my sister in Chicago. I went to this parish, and he asked about me. He says, "Oh, you used to go to our school here. What are you doing now?" I says, "I'm working in New York, and I follow the teachings of Meher Baba." Who's he? And then I told him the whole story to this priest, just like that, because my heart was overflowing. There was no barriers.
No limitations.
No limitations.
Iranian police, we
We
have
were all
here.
like that. I'm telling you.
I think you're right.
We have Iranian religion man, we have here, Shirin stuff they know. Very high class man, power. But when people die or married, he go ceremony like that. Very high power man. He lives in Beverly Hills. I took Heidi's baby, when Heidi's child came, by him, swear to Meher Baba. I told him, it's our custom, to name his ear, or his ear, the baby's ear, some word, some name that, holy name.
Right.
To ear. Maybe not the birth certificate, but to ear.
Yeah.
I gave the baby with Heidi, we went, give it to the man, holy man, Iranian holy man, was there, to his hand. It was beautiful like that. I said, I want you to read a piece of Quran. We do, our custom is that we only obey the God and he has to help us.
Right.
And he said, what should I name it to her ear? I said, Meher money. And he said, what? Ask Heidi. 3, 4, I said, Meher money. He said, we don't have such a name in Muslim, But I said, what means that? I said, you please tell them and I tell you. Because before I didn't tell you, I don't want to didn't say. He said, okay then. After he read piece of Quran, I said, yeah, your name is Meher Mani, to put the baby's ear. Baby was 7 days old, And then after that, what means that? I said, Meher is Meher Baba, and Mani is my love. Mani is Baba's sister. And then he said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, I gave it Baba's brochure, and then he read it. But of course, for them benefit, you know what that?
Yes.
Clergyman, for them benefit, don't want it.
Yes.
Anyway, I am not afraid. I give it to our clergyman.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful, because with Islamic traditions, it's very, very delicate.
Yeah, to say to the ear one holy name, and I said
yes.
Meher money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Mansari was describing that the first name that you hear when a baby's born.
Oh, she tells you.
She says she tells this story. I have it on videotape. I videotaped Mansari. I videotaped Mansari in 1994, and she was saying, "Baby, Baba." You see the baby when baby, and she says, and when you die, it's nice to repeat God's name on the bed on the bed of the dead person, or on their deathbed.
Very amazing when I said to hide this baby last year, Papa, God said, because he breakfast, with oatmeal. Said, Papa said, he looks in the sky, swear to Baba, he looks in the sky and laughs, Papa. Swear to God.
This one.
Our tears, our face is full of tears.
That's beautiful.
He looks in the sky, said,
on December 12th, that's the Dooney night, Baba remarked, 8,000 matchboxes should be ready daily.
8,000?
He wanted 8,000 matchboxes.
What they going to do that?
They were going to make a living.
Make a living.
Otherwise, you should seek some other job if you can't. He told them. He gave them a quota, like a factory boss. Baba did not mess around.
No.
The men requested Baba to allow them to continue the work, and he consented. He directed Afsari and 2 others to go to the factory to bring the materials needed to complete the work. On occasion, Mother Shireen, Mani, and Adi Jr. came to see Baba in Bombay. He would play with his young sister Mani and enjoy her sweet conversation. Adi's Jr.'s wit and intelligent candor would keep Baba in good humor. That's his brother. And there's a little footnote here about this. And it says, when Mani was born, Baba would cycle, let's take the bicycle, to the hospital to see her. And at home, he would swing her cradle.
Oh, wow.
Before leaving his parents' house, Baba had told them, Mani is extremely fortunate. She was 8 years old at this time. Wow. Well, he'd visit her at the hospital, and then he would swing her cradle at home.
Oh, my God. Therefore, money is money.
Oh, yes. While in Bombay, Baba held an open discussion about the future itinerary, and Persia, Benares, Ajmer, Nasik, and Telegon were suggested as possible places to visit. All preferred Telegon, which was near Lanalva. I mean, it's just, Telegon's only about an hour out of Pune.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, on the way to Bombay. And a letter was sent to Ramju to set up the necessary arrangements. During the stay in Bombay, people closely associated with Baba would be coming and going as he directed. On December 13th, Nardisha left for Pune and Mohan left for Kolhapur. The following day, Kareem and Subnis arrived in Bombay and reported that Arjun's health had worsened and he was in critical condition. At midnight, Baba took a walk to the seashore with Adi Keorani and Afsari. This is in Bombay, you walk to the ocean.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what ocean beach that was. Because I went to the one beach, I can't think of the name of it. It's a very famous one. I walked it in Bombay. On December 16th, Kaka Shahani arrived from Ahmednagar to meet with Baba. The next day, Gopal Swami, Martand, Rajaram, Waman Subnis, Gulmai, and Adi left for the respective homes in Ahmednagar. And the following day, Shireen, Adi Jr., and Mani left for Pune. Baba went to see Munshif Rahim for a few hours on Sunday, December 19th. Unusual news was received from Pune that there were great throngs of people surrounding Harzad Babajan every day. The ancient woman had become very active and welcomed the crowds, who usually gathered around her under a giant tree in Bun Gardens. She was also frequently making herself conspicuous by riding about the city in a horse tanga. Can you imagine how brilliantly she was? She had this silver hair.
Yeah.
She had piercing blue eyes.
Yeah.
And she had a countenance that was that regal. I mean, and here she lived to be 130 years old or something. Muslim, perfect master, God-realized woman. Harzat, H-A-R-H-A-Z-R-A-T, Hazrat.
He was.
She's
a teacher, right?
She was one of them.
Teacher, no.
No, master, perfect master.
Yeah.
She had, Baba had 5 masters: Harzat Babajan, Upasni Maharaj, Tejujin Baba, Narayan Maharaj, and Sai Baba Sikori. He had 5.
Yeah, 5.
Same as Christ had 5.
One of them was Muslim.
Christ had 5.
Oh.
Every God man has 5. Saint John the Baptist was one. I don't know the others. Muhammad had 5. Zoroaster had 5. Ram had 5. Krishna had 5. Buddha had 5. Each God man has 5. There's 56 living now on earth. 56. There's 56 God-realized souls on earth now.
Okay, and 5 what?
5 are perfect masters, but there are 51 are God-realized. 5 are perfect masters. The perfect masters have the authority and function to work as they keep the consciousness of creation in order until the advent of the next avatar. And when he comes, the 5 hand over their authority to the God-man of the age, who then takes over during his era.
They're up here. Those 5 will be up there.
Yeah.
You see, the beginning is down here, and then the closer you become, then you eventually become God realized, which is what Baba says.
See, when the advent of the God-man is not on earth, the 5 perfect masters run the show. When he comes, they hand over the authority to him. So those 5 perfect masters who made contact with Baba each relinquished their particular individual authorities at that time.
How many stages can it be? How many stages?
There's 10 circles.
10?
It's called the 10 circles.
With Baba 10 or without Baba 10?
Probably with Baba. No, without Baba.
Without?
I'm sure that he would have a circle
all times. Yeah, if you be a good study to do, I'd like to do it, to study the metaphysical, the mysticism of the Christian faith, to find out who the other 5 were. One was St. John the Baptist. I don't know the others. There's 4 others that were perfect masters for Christ. I don't know if it, I don't think the Christian doctrine has pursued that angle. Follow me? So, from that angle, so you'd have to find some real mystical Christians who understand that context. You see, if they understand it, then they could probably point out the other 4. But I think St. John, I don't know if St. Paul was one, or I don't know about the others. But
St. Paul was one because one Christian mentor from.
He was one?
Yeah.
I know, St. Paul was one of the Mandali. St. Paul was one of Jesus' Mandali disciples. But I don't know, he was not a perfect master. St. John the Baptist was God-realized master.
Yes,
He was a God-realized master, St. John the Baptist.
There's little drawings on how each one was
They call him a saint, but he was God-realized. He was a master.
How each one of those was created.
Okay, we only have 1.5 pages to go, because then we'll finish. See, then next we'll start at a new chapter. We'll do the Meher Ashram School. No, I'll finish. We only have 1.5 pages to go. So, hearing this about Harzat Babajan, Meher Baba remarked, "This is the sign of Babajan's dropping her body, her coming out into the public like that and traveling. And I should now be as near to her boundary of work as I possibly can." He reminded the Mandali that when Sai Baba was about to expire in 1918, Upasni Maharaj returned to Sikori, which is just a few kilometers from Shirdi, abruptly cancelling his tour to Bengal. All day and night on December 20th and 21st, many new people from Bombay were welcomed at Ramdas's house for Baba's darshan. During this occasion, Baba expressed a wish to move to Pune, and Khan Pudamji happily agreed to Baba's request to stay in his bungalow at Sinharda and awaited Baba's final decision. And there's a footnote to this effect on page 890, which is Pujumji's full name was Khan Bahadur Boman Dorab Pudumiji. Baba had sent Bala Supakar to Lanalva on December 13th to attend to his brother Arjun, who was ill. 4 days later, he sent Vishnu also. Ghani sent Baba daily reports on Arjun's health. Concerned Dr. Biwaklar brought in a specialist, Dr. Naji, to treat Arjun, but his condition did not look hopeful. At 5 o'clock in the morning, December 22nd, 1926, Arjun breathed his last, remembering Baba to the end. This simple man, who was once an owner of a tobacco shop, had surrendered his life to his favorite friend, serving Baba as his disciple with all his heart. Many times Baba had chewed tobacco and pan with Arjun, and over the years they had sung many of the Sadguru Tukaram's bhajans together. Receiving Ghani's telegram about Arjun's death, Baba remarked to the Mandali, "From my standpoint, it is good that he died. He was seeing me in my real form for 3 days before his demise, and he is now with me. He has been given a great spiritual push." Baba sent Ghani a telegram giving instructions concerning the last rites. Accordingly, Ghani took Arjun's body to Pune, where his funeral was held. On the day Arjun died, Dr. Biwalkar came personally to Bombay by car to convey to Baba a detailed report of Arjun's final hours. When Biwalkar arrived, before he could say anything, Baba slyly asked him, what was Dr. Naji's fee? The doctor that was tending to him. Dr. Biwalkar was astonished at this question, and when Baba asked the reason, he said, "Baba, you are a master. You know everything. Nothing is hidden from you. Of this I am fully convinced. The fact is that just before my departure from Lanalva, Dr. Naji asked me about his fee, and no sooner do I set foot here than you question me about it." The doctor was cold and callous, was asking about the fee when this doctor, Biwalkar was leaving, and the first thing Baba said to this Dr. Biwalkar, what was what's his name? Naji's fee. Naji. I was hesitant to mention it to you as I have come to apprise you of Arjun's last days. He then told Baba the details of Arjun's dying. Baba was very pleased with his loving care to Arjun to the end. Baba then had Dr. Naji's charges remitted by money order. He got that arranged. The desired bungalow could not be arranged in Telegon by Ramju. In the meantime, on December 23rd, Rustam arrived from Ahmednagar and suggested that Baba return to Mehrabad. Baba surprised the Mandali by accepting Rustam's proposal, and accordingly preparations began for their return. The matchbox work was stopped, sparing Afsari the bothersome task of carrying the basket of matches on his head every day. On the night of December 24th, after a visit of 20 days in Bombay, Baba with the men and women Mandali left for Ahmednagar by the Delhi Express train, reaching Mehrabad the next morning at 9 o'clock. As soon as they had settled in, news was brought in the afternoon that Dr. Karkal, who managed the hospital, had died. Thus, within a month of leaving Mehrabad, two of Baba's close disciples, Arjun and Dr. Karkal, had come to Baba forever. That's the end of the chapter on Mehrabad. Page 891 is where we end, and we'll begin on page 892 next Monday, which will cover the Meher Ashram school, which should be very, very interesting.
Very interesting stuff, yeah.
So, Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you, Baba. Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Jai Baba.